most of the chambers around the box, there is two spaces in the wall. I believe they contain pieces like this piece of. This is a false door, a huge one, from black granite. So as a device, it was housed on both sides of the box, and you can still see like a carved part in the wall on both sides, and the both sides of the box inside the chamber.
So they were definitely intending on putting a lot more in here.
What?
A lot more boxes.
They were already here. This is what's left after they took from them.
Oh, okay.
Because usually the easy small pieces will be the ones that removed, and also the valuable things. So if you have things made from gold or copper or any metals, at one part of the time it was the most valuable thing than the stone. So that they would take it. Here we see, you see here, this is the white limestone that they used from older structure. How do we know? Come this side. You see this? There's not supposed to be writing here.
Yeah, that would never
But
be.
these writings, they were on the structure that they dismantled, or like they quarried the stones from it in order to use it here in the renovation. So that's an evidence that the site itself was renovated once. Perhaps when they already decided to reuse it. As a symbolic tool. If it was really used as a symbolic tool.
Yeah.
I doubt everything. So the surface is still rough. It's huge. Look at this crack.
And that's the lid on top?
Yes.
Wow.
Yusuf discovered something worth to be written in a whole book. That how they smoothed the sides. You're going to see it inside.
More of the spaces is like this one, the one I'm telling you, that the false doors or steel, but because we found that false door here, we think it was more of a false door surrounding both of them. And this shape itself, the dome shape, is very powerful, energy-wise. So in every different timeline, when somebody inherits the site, they benefit from it the way they can. If they can benefit from it as reusing it with a different meaning, or if they can use it as a quarry, or if they can use it as a tourist attraction, like us today. And in every way, they start to add their things to the site, like we did.
Right.
We add electric wires, we add metal doors, we add the renovation, we remove the stuff, we added the stuff. So this is the game of history. This is what happens all the time. The Greco-Romans, they added the stuff, they removed more than they added. Dynastic Egyptians, they added the stuff, they removed the stuff, they added writings. They also quarried stones from the sites during the dynasties, and we saw yesterday the evidence that reusing stones from the sites started in the Old Kingdom. So, what more evidence do we want?
Yeah.
The kind of limestone that copper chisels are not going to work well with it. But if we see it unfinished, and it's supposed to be finished, who is going to enter here in this narrow space and continue the work of polishing and adding writings?
Right.
What is the space?
Yes. Or the other thing, that it is finished and it needed to be rough like this. Because the surface on the top here is looking better than this part here. Perhaps this part had writings and they wanted to move it by pounding to add other writings, because this also happens a lot. But the book looks quite rough.
Who is
From
going to be able
every
to
side.
fit back there?
ده بقى اللي هو الجلمود. ده الجلمود، ده حجر الجلمود ده اللي هو انشف نوع من الحجر الجيري. لو جيت تخبطه كده بيطير شطر زي الزلط.
How can you fit that
متجانس مكلس بدرجه، يعني اللي كانوا بيعملوا منه حجاره الرحال اللي هو ايه؟ تلاقيه بيهزم. And it used to be in the end. There is in the end of this. There is a room to the right.
Like L shape.
Yes, and this was in it there. So looks like they were taking it out, and for some reason they stopped. But look at the content of crystal. The inside. ده اللي هو ايه، شبكة؟
شبك.
سهل. Another unfinished one. I'm telling you unfinished because you're gonna see the finished one. They are reflecting light like mirrors. Do you see the space in the wall, both sides?
And again, you're right. Where's the room to work?
Exactly. Especially that we're gonna see other ones here that's finished, starting right here. When I looked here on these parts down here, they didn't reflect high-tech machining, but perhaps it was the rough style. What was here? Perhaps another material that was housed here to induct more. Like if two pieces of electrum or gold were put here, they will be taken, of course, far away, but as an activation. Look at the edges.
But look to the cut.
This is not the well done, or like this is not the 100%.
Not the best
also
one.
finished, because we can still see like a rough part here. So this one is finished. The surface is finished. Still rough, but there is another finishing where they smooth the surface, and then another finishing, and you're not gonna believe this, where they used actually an alchemy material like a liquid to give the final polish, and this was never mentioned. Everything mentioned about how did they polish is by using sand and a piece of rock and water. The shining ones. We still didn't see the other ones.
You know, I may have a kind of strange interest. I care more about how they cut from inside.
Oh, yeah.
Tubular drills.
Yeah. From inside, because from outside we can
Yes.
so many
Yeah.
stupid stories can be told. But from inside, and how when they reach the bottom, how they made the 90-degree angle, the vertical angle. Make the light, please, Yusuf. The bottom. Look to the angle there. Vertical angle.
No, I will take Igor inside one of those so he can.
You can say
The rough weight?
100 tons
100 tons.
total.
That's after machining.
Right.
And after they take the core from the middle, from the box.
After it's finished.
Yeah.
This one is the one that Muhammad was telling you about. The only one that was kept was the ceiling, and they used explosives to open it. I find this one is a good example that we can
Go.
take a look.